Joe Rogan recently weighed in on the growing attention surrounding Ilia Topuria and his wife, as the situation continues to generate discussion among MMA fans. According to reports and those familiar with the matter, interest in the story has intensified, with speculation and reactions increasing as more details emerge.
Is it publicly? There's like a divorce.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's taking photos with rappers and shit, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah. They try to
Put a fucking knife right in your spirit.
This is the mother of your children, and this lady is a monster. There's a lot of ladies like that because you hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being. You not just a UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion superstar who the whole world wants to see, and you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore? Well, I'm gonna take you down. Reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts in.
Actually, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
We can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, let's roll.
Put it on Only in Date is hilarious.
Every year. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. But you don't know the another part of Miami of people that just they want
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
Does anybody get under your skin? You know what that means? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that knows to say something that triggers. They see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife, probably. She's the only person. No one else, I think.
Seriously?
I think so.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that is a big strength of a lot of great ones were like that. Some of it wanted it. Some people wanted it. Like Michael Jordan's was he wanted you to say something to him.
Yeah.
And then he would convince himself that you said something about him really bad. And then he wanted to kill you. That's what Michael would talk about. You know?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he was playing basketball.
Right.
And I have enough of that energy that I wanna go in and take his head.
What began as a private matter has reportedly grown into a major controversy surrounding Ilia Topuria. Recent reports and online speculation have focused on claims of marital issues, legal disputes, and personal conflicts that have attracted widespread attention. According to the narrative being discussed, disagreements involving finances, assets, and other personal matters have turned into a highly public situation. As the story continues to gain traction, many observers believe the fallout could have consequences beyond Topuria's personal life, potentially affecting his fighting career and creating uncertainty within the UFC landscape. However, many details remain unconfirmed publicly, and the full picture has yet to be established.
Dig into this. I guess I misunderstood. Ilia Topuria made headlines. My belief through the headlines is that Ilia was walking away from the UFC championship belt, thus elevating Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett to undisputed title. Now, once I dug into this, I can't quite recall why I thought it in the first place. I mean, once I dug into it, there was nothing in the article that said that Paddy and Justin was going to be undisputed, or that the UFC was accepting, or that Ilia was surrendering a belt back. And I was talking with Daniel Cormier. Daniel's always got the inside scoop. It's like, hey, Daniel, you just got back from calling this event. What is going on there? Is Justin and Paddy moved up? And Daniel said no. He said that essentially in all of these articles and all of these news waves that have now just come out on Ilia Topuria, it's repackaging what we already knew. It was Ilia coming in front of this thing and saying, hey, I'm dealing with some big stresses in my personal life, and one of the great concerns that I have is that there's going to be a claim made against me for domestic violence, and I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting for this shoe to drop. And until it does, and until I can deal with that, try to work my own personal things back into order, I won't be competing. Now, I think a lot of you are going to hear what I just said and go, hey, Chael, you're 2 weeks late on the story. No, that is the story. The story is that this made headlines for something that we were already told a couple of weeks ago, and there is no escalation from that, meaning Ilia Topuria is not vanquishing or having stripped from him the title.
According to reports circulating around the situation, Topuria's decision to relinquish the title was not viewed as a sudden move. Sources close to the discussion have suggested that the combination of legal proceedings, court commitments, and relentless public scrutiny created significant distractions away from competition. For an athlete known for his focus, structure, and meticulous preparation, dealing with major challenges outside the sport can make it far more difficult to maintain the mindset required for championship-level performance. If those reports are accurate, the pressure beyond the cage may have become just as demanding as any opponent he could face inside it.
Some news regarding Ilia Topuria, because I do think that as of this morning, it's probably the biggest news of the day. So obviously by now, you know that he is not fighting on January 24th. You know that he is taking a bit of a break. You know that there's an interim title on the line at UFC 324. You know all that stuff and more. Well, over the weekend, he spoke to ESPN Deportes. I want to play those two clips in a moment, but I want to start with the new news first, if you will, because he posted on Instagram this morning an update on his status, and he also discussed what he's been going through. And I think it's worth reading because this is the most he has said about all of this. Over the past several weeks, I've made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This was not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence has been submitted to appropriate judicial authorities in order to pursue legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds, and personal property, and multiple threats. My initial decision to remain silent was made solely to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I've come to understand that silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold. Many individuals have faced similar situations, and time and again, the legal system has ultimately clarified the facts. Today, I'm stepping forward not only for my family and myself, but also to demonstrate that no one should be forced to yield to intimidation, manipulation, or fear. Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity. I have full confidence in the judicial process and will allow the legal system to determine the facts based on evidence. Out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any further public statements. I respectfully ask that speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume, it requires facts. Thank you, Ilia Topuria. So that is heavy duty stuff. Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those. I had not heard any of this.
Did Ilia Topuria and his wife break up? Like, seriously, I'm actually so upset about this. Honestly, I hate when good-looking couples split up. Ilia Topuria and his wife Georgina look like such a power couple together, and if this is true, this would be so shocking.
We already dreamed this so many times. We always say that you have to see things before they happen.
Another dream come true.
But what if it's true? What will this mean for Ilia Topuria's perfect 17-0 MMA record? And you know what they say, behind every successful man is an even better woman. Anyway, everyone's going on about this awkward Nelk Boys video with Ilia Topuria, so
fans remain divided over the situation. Some believe Topuria made the right choice by stepping away during a difficult period, while others argue that champions should fight through adversity. The debate has only increased attention around his name, especially since it came at a time when he was undefeated and building tremendous momentum in the sport. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his future, many believe these challenges could ultimately motivate him, and that, when he returns, he may come back even more focused, determined, and dangerous than before.
I had not heard any of these allegations or rumors, innuendo, any of that. And so you can understand even more so why he would want to step away and not focus on fighting or defending his title, because obviously there's a lot going on. It's extremely sad. It's, I feel for everyone involved. I feel for his family. I feel for his kids. It's an awful situation. And so let's see what happens. Let's see what becomes of it. And let's see when we can see him back in there. As of now, there's no real timeline set in place. He spoke to ESPN Deportes about that, about his decision to walk away. Here's what he had to say, and I'll read the subtitles for you in case you're just listening to the audio. Finally, Ilia, because what the public wants to know, you announced not the first quarter, that you'll fight in January. When would you like to fight? When you feel it's time to return? Well, Ilia says, as I've communicated, I'm going through some personal problems. I do not have an exact date when everything will be fixed. I hope that as soon as possible, as soon as it is solved, I will be ready to go back. In the octagon, I prioritize at this time the welfare of my family, of my children, my own. So as soon as everything is solved, I will be back to the octagon to give it the show that everyone deserves. He's then asked if he's going to be there. We are making decisions at this time, whether I'll make the trip on January 24th, but I hope so. I hope so. So that's what he had to say to ESPN Deportes on Saturday. At his own event, WOW FC, I believe that was in Madrid. Interestingly enough, PT alerted me of this. It was actually streaming on Cristiano Ronaldo's YouTube page. So great, publicity. He's now teamed up with them, and they're trying to do big things over in Spain. He was also asked, by the way, how the UFC was handling the situation and the kind of support that they were giving to him. Here's what he had to say. I think a lot of people were surprised that you were not fighting in the first quarter, at least. But how is it with the UFC? Are they understanding? Because obviously all the fighters can go through problems such as what you are going through. How understanding was Hunter and the other people involved? The truth is, Ilia says, they have been excellent. We have a special connection. I have understanding without having to give a lot of explanation, understanding from them. From the very first moment, they have extended their hand. I have been offered their support in any time I needed it. So I don't really know. I'm very happy for the support I've received from them, for the understanding, and also happy about the steps that they have to take. It has obviously been a conversation we have had, and as a promoter now that I have the experience, I also have the experience of going through this part of the sport as a promoter and not only as a fighter. I understand in many, many more ways that perhaps. So I am very happy, to be honest, because of the relationship that I'm starting to have with the UFC. And for the understanding that they have had with me. So there you have it. He is very happy with the support. He did also say that he wants to finish his MMA story and then go into boxing, but that's a lot of steps away.
Actually, all of these articles going around, all of these stories you're going around, you're hearing about Ilia Topuria have no direct tying to Paddy the Baddy and Justin Gaethje. I get where this is confusing. I even asked Daniel that. I said, hey man, what am I missing? I get the severity. I get that we don't want to lighten up a personal topic. And when domestic violence is thrown in there, I get that we don't want to do that. I thought we dealt with this a couple of weeks ago. Is there about to be a legal charge? Is there about to be an investigation? Is there something new coming from this? And the answer was no. But it's got Ilia in a panic. So I start reading these articles. I start going through them all. I'm going, man, these headlines are very misleading. Let me get to the bottom of this. And Ilia does at some point make that statement, which is, I knew that this was going to come out. I thought staying quiet was a way to deal with it. But I've now learned when you're quiet in the world of PR, it gives fuel to flames of false narratives. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to let you know that I am expecting sooner or later an accusation to be made about domestic violence. What do we do with the interim belt? I mean, I feel awful for Ilia Topuria, but not having heard any of this story, not having Ilia said that, or getting Daniel to explain it to me, or taking my time and going back and reading through the articles so that I come to you guys and I don't misspeak. Absent of any of that, I would have been able to tell you if it wasn't.
Personal setbacks, public attention, legal battles, and losing a championship would be difficult for any athlete to handle. Many observers believe experiences like these can either break a fighter's confidence or fuel a stronger comeback. Joe Rogan has often discussed how adversity can push competitors to reach another level mentally. And some fans feel Topuria has the mindset to channel challenges into motivation. As a result, there is growing speculation that if he returns, he could come back more determined than ever, driven by the desire to prove himself and reclaim his place at the top of the division.